Hello and welcome to this playthrough of Factorio, where I am building a megabase on Earth. I am using a mod, Cities of Earth, focusing on the Old World Hemisphere. My goal is to reach 10,000 science per minute with a rail-based design. The resources are set to maximum size and density, and biters and pollution are turned off. The mod list is shown in the description, as well as a link to my Twitch channel, High Speed. Please come visit me there. Questions and comments are welcome. Thank you for watching. Okay, I'm back. Remember, no prod, no modules on blue belt is 90 miners per belt, or about 3 per patch. You want 16 blue belt per patch. You want 720 ores per second. 250 miners, or 1.25 speed after speed 3 mods, or 2.34 ore per mining action, so prod levels 13 to 14. I wish you would put that in my Factorio, or in my Discord chat, so I'd still have it. 8 miners per side are needed for productivities 13 to 15 with speed 3s. At prod 16 it goes to 7 miners per side. And prod 20 is exactly 6, so maybe be prepared to do 21 if you're getting issues for some reason with 20. So what I'm looking at is that I know how many miners I'm going to put on a patch. I know I'm going to put at minimum 250 miners on a patch. So if my 250 miners, and I've gotten to level 10, which prod 10 is pretty straightforward to get to, I think. Mining prod 10 is not going to be that expensive. And that's, yeah. So there's 256 miners. That's a guarantee. I could pretty much guarantee I'm always going to get 256 miners. And that's with no. So what I'm looking at is how do I need the speed 3 modules at this level of productivity, and at what level of productivity do I need them or get rid of them? But either way, I've made up my mind. I'm going to switch to this design. And thank you, Bob. You've helped immensely, tremendous amount. And I had fun with the crazy ideas yesterday. That was fun. It was the perfect time in my build cycle to have something like that. It was basically, a diversion away from the fact that I've got 20 FPS. Okay, so once this research completes, I'm going to save it and take a screenshot of this transport lines, which we can see that we're not using much. It jumps up to 6. $24. Oh, that was 0229. I gotta, okay, well, 0301. 3 hours consumption. This is going to take a little while for it to stabilize after it's done. So essentially, this is a success, and I'm very happy with it. All right, jumps and ticks are down. So even these little hitches and glitches are gone. What I'm going to do now is see if I can improve my UPS. So that's 200. And that's 336 because it's a massive, big thing. It's built on a fake assumption, if you will. So let's find one to do first and then grow from there. And see if we can claw our FPS back. So I'm going to need medium power poles. Oh. Oh, that's very bad. I might have really broken something. You're at 4,000. Okay, nothing's broken. So I'm not going to need miners. I'm going to need medium power poles. I've got a speaker. I need a lot of belt to replace those underbelts, or those splitters. And I need a lot of underbelt to replace to add in. Yeah, Bob, that's the goal, is 16 blue belt per patch. In total. And I don't care if I get it some other way. I mean, in theory, I could... in theory, I could run the double belt thing, which I've done in the past, and just fed the belt back through the other mining thing. I'm just watching a rocket launch. I mean, I had a design that I had used at one point that looked like this. And I was okay with it, but it's what led to my other design. Is I had some of them that went this way, right? And then on one side of it, I went the other way and then back. So, and then when these came together, when you repeat this process, yeah, I don't have a way to deliver speed ones. But what I can do is after I've redone all of the mining, I can do a measure test with max with rate calculator to see if I'm getting the needed And if not, I can add some speed mods. So like this one, I know that I need 36,000. If it comes up short, once I take out the speed mods, I can take your advice and put some speed mods back in. But as we see here, most of these are just sitting idle anyway, so because I'm not using it at full speed. I'm going to need a lot more underbelts, so I might as well delete this. I don't think most of my trains carry medium power poles anymore because I haven't used them. I've switched over to using substations. I am going to need a lot of that. The crash stuff. Hi, kitty cat. And I need a lot of blue belt which means that I'm going to be riding around in Lychem a lot. Well, let's start with red and green science, shall we? Although the smart move would probably involve some Spidertrons. And I'm going to be throwing a lot of stuff away. So one place I'm going to be making changes here. That doesn't seem to have any trouble keeping up. That's 12. And then just let those run out. Oh, 5 already made it here. You know what? We'll bring 1 and 3 down too then. Maybe they'll help. Could have done that before, but The question is, should I set up a chest to sort of recycle some of this stuff, or should I just let it all go, or... how to do that? Of course, now I need these trains to come here. And they're not. Excellent, this train is. Here it is. I imagine I can start picking some of this stuff up now. I am going to end up with way too much stuff. Major Mayhem. Thank you. No, it doesn't, really. Friend called 5, thank you. You're helping me. Your spider called 5. So for the past 10 hours, I've had 3 hours of consumption at 11K. I've had these occasional little glitches in production, but they were because of consumption buffers, backups. He's the best spider. So now what I'm trying to do is get some more UPS back by redesigning my outputs. By the way, 5, I learned that splitters are one of the most expensive things you can put on your bus. And so by having a design that uses miners into splitters, you're basically forfeiting a bunch of UPS. So I'm going to go with a different design. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not a goal-based person. I'm a process-based person. I'm also switching my loaders to use this, which I dislike immensely. So I enjoy the process, Mayhem, but I've spent so much time chasing goals that I realize that there's always something on the other side of the goal, and I stopped doing that. So I set the goal and I work towards it, but most importantly, I enjoy the process of working towards it. I've not built a blueprint for this, so I still need to do that. Most UPS efficient mining you can have is one miner into a splitter and then having it feed itself in. Wait, what? Most UPS efficient mining you can have is one miner into a splitter and then having it feed itself into itself to feed a full belt. That's at mining prod 200, yeah. Okay. That's okay, I'm not going to use that. Is this getting me 16 or anywhere close to 16? So that's 12. 13. 14. This is not what I want. Not it. Thought I had it worked out, but I must have. Must have been mistaken. What did I say I needed in that now removed blueprint? So I can expect 16 to 18 in the middle. At this prod level, I fill a belt. so that's not going to get me a full belt. Yeah, that is one of the things I'm considering, Burgers. You bring up a very good point, and it's how much work do I want to put into this? But I do have an excessive amount of splitters. I'm just trying to figure out how, because the it's not the right display. Entity usage, inserters are taking 13. I looked at inserters last night. I don't really have a way to get that better. That's the big thing, is inserters. Transport lines, when it's full up, when the whole thing is busy, it's 6. Now, circuit networks, when they were at 5, they were crushing my game. I didn't even have 10K. And they go as high as 2. But right now, there's not a whole lot going on for some reason, even though it's all working. So removing the splitters from here will have an effect. It'll give me 2, maybe 4 UPS, or 4. Yeah, total, I'm hoping it'll give me 2 to 4 UPS back. I don't know that that's worth it. But the design I'm using here, first off, I've got all these prod 3s in here that I don't need. Or speed 3s in here that I don't need. Because my mining prod has gone up to the point where, and even a moderate amount of mining prod, when you've got a max density, max size ore, I just don't need these mining prods. So if this thing needs 36,000 ore per minute, I can do that with mining 3s really easily, by a lot. If I don't have speed 3s, sorry, I said mining 3s. If I don't have speed 3s, if I go and find an outpost that has mining that doesn't use speed modules, like this one, or easily this one, then how many of these do I need? With no speed 3s, I need about 200. Yes, Bob, if you want me to be able to review it later, you can send them in the Discord. Just in Factorio is fine. So at this level, it's about 260, right? On average, these outposts are 250 miners. At minimum, these outposts are 250 miners. So if I don't have any speed 3s, with this level, I can eliminate the speed 3s. So that's one thing. It's pretty consistent there. The second thing is that I do have a lot of splitters in here. And the reason I'm using these splitters is because I'm using substations. But these substations positioning is not really buying me what substations buy you, which is the long distance and large coverage, because I'm putting substations at every 2 belts. I don't have a gap here. I just have an artificial gap here. So what I'm looking at here, what I thought I had captured, but apparently I did not, was that if I put about 12 of these, which is how many I want to baseline against, right? So that's 24, 24 of those at even prod level 9, production level, mining productivity 9, which is easy to get, that's going to fill the belt. Now, on most of these things, am I gonna get a full belt? Am I gonna be able to get 16 of these across? Because I'd like to keep 16 because I designed this around 16. Now, I could reduce this to be a 12 to 16, and then I'm guaranteed to get 12, but then it's, questionable as to whether or not that works. It's easy to set up. But one of the things I'm mulling over is a design I toyed with, but then I moved to the other one, and now I'm seeing that the UPS benefit might not be there. Which is to say, take every other one of these and feed it back the other way. About 70 wide. So, I've got two lines of thinking here that I'm trying to resolve in my head. One of them is there's three actually, but two main ones. Do I run all belts right to the balancer? Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. In the other design is to keep them smashed together. If I keep them smashed together, how many of those can I fit here? How many belts can I get out of that? And in a thing of 70, which is I think accurate, that's 18. So get rid of the last two. Sorry. That was double belt selection. So if I keep them as small as possible, I'm only going to get 8 belts. So I would have to do something like an 8 to 16 balancer. Or, like Bob is saying, stagger them and get them all out front. And that's, well, the thing of it is that my brain is going, look at how this is. I've got a gap here that I'm not mining, but it's overlapped by both of these miners. But I don't have that gap here. Now here, I have a gap that's not being mined. And it's overlapping on both of them. Once again, somebody went glitchy, but that's fine. So we've now exceeded 3 hours on production as well, or on consumption. So it makes sense to me to run a second set of belts here. Now this is what I was playing with before I got the idea for the splitters. And so if I do this, where they're, as you say, staggered or offset, then I have to take some of them and send them backwards. And this is 6, so this is half. So I would have to figure out something like, okay, you don't go forward, you go backwards. You go forward, you don't go forward, you go backwards. Now assume this is very large. And that would tell me who's going which direction. So the question is, what does that get me in terms of belt output for I got something wrong. No. So that's 5. And that's 10. That's 8. If I do the same sort of output size, I just really wanted to shoot those. So that's 10. Neither one of those get me to 16. I kind of want to bring up the editor mode so that I can just do this, but because there's no way I'm getting 16 out of that. Oh, that's interesting, Bob. Let's post what Bob did here. And let's go with we're going to go with 8 at a time. Because part of the problem is how to get to the backside, right? So that's Bob's proposal. Finding myself really liking this. Although that's 9. How do I double that? Oh, I missed this one. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. Not as space efficient, but it does solve the problem that's been bugging me for years. Is how do I get the front miners involved? Because the back miners always override them. I really want 16 though. And this is not 16.